This is the book of Psalm, chapter 127, and verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Psalm chapter 127 and verse 3. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to our Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing, to be edifying and uplifting onto the elect. All right, and I was reading this book here, all right, and I just saw something very, very interesting that I wanted to bring out, okay, which is going into edification. All right, once again, more evidence, okay, outside of the Bible, okay, to show who the children of Israel really are, okay, because there are a lot of ancient biblical customs, all right, that we always say that our people were keeping, even when they fled into the western parts of Africa or into, like they say, the interiors of Africa, okay? When we fled Jerusalem, all right, around 70 AD, all right, at the hands of the Roman persecution, which was led by Vespasian and ultimately passed on down to his son Titus, okay, to finish the siege. But our people fled to many different parts of the world, okay? And don't forget that us fleeing Jerusalem during that time did not change who we are as a people, okay? A lot of customs, a lot of things that we kept after we had left the land of Israel, okay? And some customs are even being kept till today, okay? In many different parts of the world, when you visit, all right, many different many different tribes, okay, whether they know it or not, they carry certain customs that are biblical, that goes back to the scriptures, okay? And there's one here that I'm going to bring out, okay, which this author is actually, I believe he's from Ghana, okay? He goes into like the slave trade and what had happened and so on and so forth, okay? Because you have Jake over here and you got Jake over there in Africa, and they beef against each other, okay? Jake over there in Africa think that they're different from the Jake over here, but do you know that the Jakes over here were taken from the Jakes that are in most parts of Africa? Okay, so-called Jamaicans today, the Benjamites. There's a whole lot of Benjamites out there in West Africa. You can't tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? The only difference is probably the accent or the language. You see what I'm saying? That's the only difference. All right. But anyway, I'm gonna get into this real quick. Okay, we're gonna focus more on the naming ceremony. Okay, out there in Ghana, how they do the naming ceremony, all right, and how it ties into, all right, our roots as Israelites. Okay, so it says here, quote, "A child is a gift from the Most High," end quote, is a saying generally known by everybody. However, if a couple stays together for more than 2 years and still produces no child, this saying seems to lose all its meaning. In such situations, much pressure is put on the woman to conceive, since in most cases, women are perceived to be the problem. If not well handled, this can lead to divorce. And again, this is all going back to what ancient biblical practices. Okay, it was a woman's duty, all right, to bear children to a man that she's married to, and it was a man's obligation, okay, to have children, to bear children, to continue his seed. That's all that matters. Okay, today, modern days marriages, okay, is all for business. Okay, is all either to make business for the couple or business for the state. Okay, the courts and so on and so forth. That's all marriages have become. Okay, they don't promote, happy marriages, a father and a mother. Okay, to have a stable household. They don't do that anymore. Especially if you're in a Jake household, okay, it's lost all its meaning. Marriage has lost all its meaning because now people get married just so they can do divorces, just so they can say, "Oh, I just divorced," or "I got a divorce," or "I'm working on my divorce." They just like saying that shit. Like it's a cool thing. No, that's a shame. Okay, that's a shame. Women should not be going around seeking divorce. That's against the scriptures. Okay, the scriptures tell you that a man is the one who can give a bill of divorce, okay, upon the infraction of a woman. Not just, oh, I feel like just divorce it. Now you gotta go. No, unless she offends you, and you happen to be on the right hand side, then she can get the bill of divorce, or you can give her a bill of divorce. Okay, it says a child is seen as priceless, and every family would sacrifice all they have for it. For a man, childbearing manifests his manhood. For a woman, since Akans inherit from the mother, the continuity of the family depends on her. And that is something that our people start to pick up from the so-called rats. Okay, the so-called, or the small hats, I should say. Okay, they pass on their lineages, all right, through the mother. Okay, but going back to biblical times, it doesn't work like that. Okay, the lineages, all right, the inheritance is passed on from the father to his firstborn son. Okay, a prime example would be the story of Jacob and Esau. All right, Esau was the older one, and Jacob was the younger one, but Jacob ended up having or getting the blessing, okay, by what was supplanting Esau. Okay, when Isaac told Esau that it was time for him to, go to the spirit world, so he was going to give him his blessing. Rebecca heard that, and she told her son Jacob, "Hey, go get me 2 goats, and I'm gonna slay them, and then I'm gonna put I'm gonna do my cunning arts, makeup, and that's how they were able to supplant Esau, and got the blessing when Isaac, was given that venison, okay, which was really goat, okay." So it says these ceremonies are even more elaborate if twins or triplets are born. Okay. It says, first and foremost, when a child is born, it is perceived to be a visitor to the family. The elders have established that if on the 7th day on earth, this visitor does not return to the ancestors, in other words, if the baby is still alive, then it has come to stay. Thus, in the morning of the 8th day, elders of the man's family welcome the baby to the family and also name him or her. Okay, and that is actually, you notice it says the 8th day. Okay, that whole concept of dealing with your child, especially if it's a male-born child on the 8th day, was what? Circumcision. Okay, and that is actually what happens, all right, in the Akan custom. Okay, on the 8th day, the boy is named and then he's circumcised. Okay, sometimes they actually do the circumcision right at the hospital. They don't even wait till the 8th day. And if you do that, if you're not careful, the baby could die that way. Okay, because they don't have they could bleed to death. They don't have the necessary tissue. It hasn't been developed yet. Okay, so the baby could die that way if you're not careful. All right, so that's why the Lord said for you to wait, all right, till the 8th day. Okay, there's a book of Leviticus chapter 12. Okay, in verse 1 it says, "And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days according to the days of the separation, for her infirmity shall be she shall be unclean." Verse 3, "And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised." Okay, so that's this the specifics, all right, of what happens on the 8th day. Okay, but in the Akan custom, not only do they do the circumcision, but they also they take it as a day to name the child. Okay, going back to that belief that past the 7 days, after 7 days, that means that this baby is here to stay with us. But if the child transitions, meaning he doesn't make it past 7 days, that means that they weren't meant to be here. Okay. So continue. It says, items needed for the naming ceremony include 1 full glass of water, 1 bottle of schnapps, and Adwin Haben, which is wisdom leaf. Oh, Adrin Habain, okay, which is wisdom leaf, in the absence of which the forefinger is used. It says the elders all dressed in white. Interesting, right? The elders, not just anybody, the elders all dressed in white, go to the baby's mother's family house if the couple are not living together in their own house. The elders of the mother's family ask the reason for their visit as custom demands, even though they are aware. Okay, and that actually is something that happened in the scriptures. Okay, asking what? Let's read that again. It says the elders of the mother's family ask the reason for their visit as custom demands. Okay, so it's a custom, even if you know why they're there, it's a custom to ask, hey, may I know why you're here? Is a customary thing. Okay, comest thou peaceably? Okay, let's get that. There's a book of 1 Samuel chapter 16, okay, in verse 4. Actually, let's start off at let's start off at 1. It says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go, I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. You see, so that goes to show you again evidence that the Lord is the one who does the choosing. Okay, he removeth kings and he setteth up kings. He removed Saul and he set up King David. Okay, it says, and Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord Yahweh said, take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord Yahweh. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will shew thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. Okay, so the naming, okay, is very, very important. Names are very, very, very important. Okay, that is why you got a lot of these people who don't take the name of the Lord seriously. The Lord is going to destroy these niggas. Okay, no, you're not going to get a pass because you fucking up the name of the Lord. You're not going to get a pass. You crazy? Okay, scripture says what? Take not the name of the power, all right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's name in vain. Okay? It says, verse 4, and Samuel did that which the Lord Yahweh spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled. Once again, the elders, okay, the elders of the town trembled at his presence, or at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably? Right? So as the custom demands, even though they know, they have to ask. Okay? It says, comest thou peaceably? And he said, peaceably. I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice, and be sanctified, Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. Okay? So that's how you do it. All right? That's how you do it. So let's continue. It says, after the exchanges, both families assemble. The father's family elders present items to the baby's mother for her to eat well in order to have good enough breast milk for the child. Okay? So let's continue. It says, there you go, right here. It says, the elders dip the leaf or his forefinger into the water and puts a drop on the tongue. Let me see, hold on. Yeah, on the tongue of the baby. He repeats this process 3 times with the water, and same is done with the schnapps, which I guess that's a strong drink. Okay, it says while doing so, he mentions the name of the child. For instance, let's see. Right. For instance, the elder would say when using the water, he mentioned the child's name 3 times and say, if you say it is water, then it must be water. And then he'll put, it says, and using the schnapps or alcohol, the elder says the child's name 3 times and says, if you say it is alcohol, then it must be alcohol. Okay. Now, why did they do this? We're going to explain. It says the baby certainly reacts differently to the water and the alcohol. The family seeks for the baby to differentiate between good and bad, and also to instill in the child honesty. Okay, this is on the 8th day, right? How did our ancestors know about all these things? Huh? Why did so-called Akan people who are from western parts of Africa, or actually lived in the western parts of Africa, right? But before they got there, where were they? Why are they keeping these customs here? Let's keep going. It says, the family seeks. Oh, we read that. It says, therefore, the baby's yes should be yes, and the nay be nay. And no matter the difficulty or pain, should remain astute to this principle. The remainder of the schnapps is carried with a glass to all those present to sip just a little as a seal or witness to the baby's name, and to charge them from that moment to take responsibility for the baby's proper upbringing. Okay? Most of the people around present gifts to the baby in the form of capital investment for its proper upbringing. At some places, a small refreshment will be served, blah, 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 blah. And then they give thanks to the Most High and to their ancestors. Okay? And that's how they ended the ceremony. Okay? So, I just wanted to bring that out. Okay? There's actually some fun parts here too, which I could actually tap into real fast. Okay? It says here, the name given could be a memorial testimony or prophetic. Memorial in the sense that the name is given to immortalize a person or an event or testimony to testify the beautiful things the Lord or the ancestors had done prior, on or after the delivery. The prophetic is to give delivery, and prophetic is to give a name that may not necessarily be based on the above mentioned, but that which would chart. She's like, what the fuck? Mentioned, but that which would chart the course of the child or the life of the child. So then, though event at birth may not be pleasant, they would still give a name that would cause the child to have a difficult experience in life. So that's why they believed this is something known as nomen omen. Okay, a name prediction. Okay, so our ancestors, okay, took that very, very seriously. You don't just name a child any old name. That's why a lot of these people are bugged out, because they carry names that they don't even understand where it comes from. Okay? Names carry vibrations, man. Okay? It carries vibrations. All right? Let's see. All right. So, let me see if there's more. Okay. So it says, there is also the belief that as children use the names of great people, they may grow to exhibit some of their good qualities, right? Some babies, therefore, are named after certain individuals whose name the family would want to keep alive. Some of these individuals are those who contributed immensely to the family or nation, or who were very kind or knowledgeable, such as Kwame Nkrumah, Yaa Asantewaa, Luther King, Malcolm X, and names of other renowned dignitaries. Such in the case as well with names from the Bible, and so forth. It says, from the above discourse, it becomes easy to conceptualize the elaborate system of naming a child born into this world. However, this system to the Europeans seemed fetish for lack of their understanding. In view of this, most Ghanaian carry two names, one being an African name and the other a Christian name. Interestingly, what they call a Christian name would actually not be Christian at all. Apart from the names of the characters in the Bible that are given for one to bear the character traits like Paul, Philip, Matthew, Caleb, or David, most of the other names are just European names. Come to think of George, Aquiline, Anthony, Francis, Letitia, and a host of others. All right, so that's pretty much a little bit of information regarding some traits that go back to the ancient Hebrews, okay, the ancient Israelites, customs that are being kept till today, and if these people were to be called who they are, all right, which are Israelites, it will make all the sense in the world. You wouldn't even bat an eye. You'd be like, yep, this is what they do, because this is what they've always done. This is who they are as a people. Okay? The whole confusion that people are all confused about the fact that we're the Israelites and all this, there's no confusion there. Okay? Anyone who's educated, you arrive at the same exact answers that we've arrived at, which is the truth. Okay? And you can't debate facts. You cannot argue facts. All right? And facts are not hate. Okay? So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we're going to keep on bringing out the facts. Okay? And we see that it's eating you devils alive. Every corner you turn, you're being faced with the truth. You have to answer questions that you don't have no answers for. Okay? Because you've been lying. And now the truth is catching up to you, destroying all your lies. And it's going to destroy you. I'm going to leave it off there low and you're edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.